Hello, I'm Alika Karpova and you are watching It All Starts with a Dream TV talk show. Let's talk about dreams once again. Dreams are reachable, but action is needed in order to succeed. In our talk show, entrepreneurs and professionals talk about their dreams, share their life experiences, incredible stories and secrets of success. You can watch the previous episodes of our show at itallstartswithadream.net. Today, we will talk about the dream of an amazing woman, fashion designer. Her stunning line has been worn by celebrities such as Ellie Brooke from Fifth Harmony, Tara Reid, Vanessa Simmons, Kelsey Ballerini, Sofia Reyes, Lilimar Hernandez, Alison Holker, and featured in magazines including Regard Magazine, Jude Magazine, Obvious Magazine, Lucy's Magazine, LA Fashion Magazine, and Carolina Style Magazines. With pleasure, let me introduce to you Mimmi Tran.
Hi everyone.
Also, in the studio I have my helpers today. Kristina Karevsky-Karpova, our little star, Rosemary Elementary School, 2nd grade.
Hello, how are you?
And Sonia Yetka, our young generation,
Hello.
Westmont Valley College.
Hello.
Mimmi, we have a tradition here. Kristina usually starts the interview. She prepared a wonderful question for you. Kristina, what is your question? Ask honey, go ahead.
What is your childhood dream?
My childhood dream is to travel the world and be the best fashion designer.
I believe that our childhood dreams related to what we do in adult life. Is that true for you, Mimmi?
It's very true for me.
How it started? Remember you mentioned to me that you took your old clothes and
Yeah.
tell me.
So when I was around about 4 or 5 years old, I used to store my baby clothes and my mother saved it to sell it and buy food. We didn't have much growing up, so I remember on my 5th birthday, I stole it and she got really mad. I took them because it just looked like a very unique small pieces, and they almost look like couture pieces. And I cut them and I put them together, make them bigger so I can fit in it. And my mother used to get really mad and she say, you know, you happen to cut all your birthday cake. Yeah, so that's what happened.
That's how you started your fashion passion. Where you were born? Can you tell us about your early childhood? Where are you from?
I was born in Vietnam. I left Vietnam when I was 5. Went to Paris. I went to boarding school in Paris and left Paris when I was 15 to move to US.
You will talk more about it. And can you tell a little bit more about when you were in Vietnam? Was it war period at that time or like?
I remember pieces by pieces together. I remember that, you know, around 1973, my mother put me on the bike and my brother with us, and we take the railroad is because they can bomb the railroad. That's the most safety place to go, and we tried to get to the U.S. Embassy to evacuate it from Vietnam, but we keep waiting for my father, and he actually never showed up, and my mom decided to stay.
I'm sorry to hear that you had such an experience in your childhood, that situation.
And I saw a body lay on the ground, and I asked my mother, I said, why they sleep on the ground? And she said, they just tired, they just take a nap.
So your mom tried to cover you from the sadness of
Yeah.
what's going on around that time.
Yeah.
Nice. So how it happened that you got into Paris? Why it happened?
It just, I have a medical condition. So my mother called my aunt and said, best for me to move to Paris when they have more technology to help me with my medical conditions.
Okay.
And I guess when I moved here in US, everything back to normal.
Back to normal.
Which is a blessing,
good.
yeah.
How many years did you spend in Paris?
I guess from almost 5 years old to 15.
Good. So you remember your teenager years spent in Paris.
Yeah.
Do you think it's kind of like related to fashion a little bit, that you actually had this beautiful world of fashion, because Paris, it's famous for fashion?
You know, I have no idea until I start become a fashion designer 4
Later
years
on.
ago. And I start reading all the top designer in the world, and that's why understand that the couture designer, that's where it all come from.
Not from childhood that you were in
Yeah.
Paris at that time. You didn't even think about that.
No,
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay. When you first moved to America, how it was first year to be immigrant? Was it difficult, hard? How was it?
It was really hard for me because I was, as you know, teenager age is always tough already to begin with, and now is with the languages barrier, which is even worse. And I don't have any friends. I don't have anyone to talk to, and the kids used to make fun about my accent. And so pretty much, within 4 years in high school, I didn't have much friends.
But little by little you grew to
Yeah,
Who
I just
you
told
are
myself
today.
that, whatever the barrier is, I have to make the best out of it, and I have to push myself to be better.
Okay, I have a question about your mother next. What type of work did she do, and what kind of wisdom did you learn from her?
My mother, before the war, she actually worked for Pacific Unions, is army supplies for the U.S. government. After the war, she was very young. She had a hard time to find a job because they list out, basically in Vietnam, my father worked in the CIA, so they list out background records as number 13. So that means that you can't go college or you cannot find a job. So my mom couldn't find a job, so she actually ended up work around my grandfather farms.
But when you moved to America, did she able to find a job here in America?
Yeah, my father and my mother both are dishwasher. And sometimes I did ask them, I say, how do you feel where at one point you very rich and off the world, and now you do this? And they say, you know what, this country give you a best chance to be what you want to be. So that's why we're here, and we're not regret it. And they save enough money, so they opened the video store. So they actually own their own business for a long time.
They owned own business.
Multiple business, yeah.
So what kind of wisdom did you learn from your mom?
She always said it to me. She say, we don't bake for food, so we don't bake for love. And whatever we want, we should really push ourselves to the limit to get it.
Yeah,
That's what I learned from her.
yeah, that's what you have in your character, the strength
Yeah.
from your mom. And you also run your own business right now because your parents also run the business,
Yeah.
and you learned it from them as
Yeah.
well. Okay, how it started, little by little, working for the industry. You mentioned that you worked in Cisco before you started fashion business. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, my very early age, I was working for Cisco system, and then I was there for 7 years, and I went back and get my international marketing and international management, because I like to surround by people, and I like to associate with more like people than computers all days in the lab. So I end up left Cisco, went to banking. So the first job I work at is actually Wells Tobacco.
Okay. And how it started your life-changing experience, world of fashion? What was the first step?
I guess 4 years ago, when I decided to become a fashion designer, I have no idea. I have no idea how to start it. I mean, this is the first time that it seemed lost to me, and I don't really know how to start it. But then I say, let's put the first fashion show together, and let's go to San Francisco and get into that particular fashion group and see what they're doing. And so next things I know, I put a fashion show together, and after that, I start learning every single top designer in the world. I learn how to recognize their signature, and then I start learning the fabric. I don't sleep much at night, actually.
Tell us how you start to create your beautiful gowns, where it came from, ability to draw sketches.
You know, it's funny because when I in London or New York, they're asking me the same thing. The blogger asked me the same thing. Where's all that come from? I don't have a actual answer to tell you where it's all come from, but I think it just at night when everything sleep, my mind's wide awake, and the images come to my mind, and I think created by hand sketches, it gives me the ability to do so much, and that's why I never use computer to do all my sketches.
Did you draw in childhood? Like, how do you know how to draw?
I guess one day I was in school, 7th, 8th grade. I just pick up a brush and I start painting. So I guess we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so we don't travel much. So every time I used to imagine myself when I do painting, I used to imagine myself that I can go to this area where it's the mountain, have the snow, and then have a little river run through, and there's a cottage next to it. So that's how all the stuff that I start painting. But then after that, landscape it seemed a bit boring to me, so I switched over to abstract. And when I dress, the two things I would do is cooking and painting.
Okay. Can you tell us about your evening gowns? Where do you get your ideas? All evening gowns look so different. They each unique.
I think I'm fortunate that I'm not. I didn't go to the fashion design school. It's fortunate but not fortunate. Fortunate is that I don't have a set of guideline that is more like in the box, that you can't, you have to walk in the box. I believe that's most of fashion students, they all learn within the same box, that's why my mind's whatever went, I'll go with it. And then unfortunate is that I have to learn everything from scratch. So I have to learn the fabric himself, I have to collect a lot more data than you go to school and you have everything there that you can learn from.
Where your gowns are created? How many people work on creating collection?
You mean how the process starts?
And where the factory?
Well, I prefer not to disclose.
Okay.
Most of us don't talk about that.
Okay.
It's a very competitive area. Also determine where our sales channel go to. But the process is very simple. We connect to the trends. There is a group of company that forecasting what the next 6 months the color will be, the texture will be, the silhouettes will be, and then you go from there to determine what kind of fabric that you want to choose. I mean, you have thousands of fabric every season. For me, I always seem to I look at thousands of them, but I only seem to come up with one, and I always come back with one, and that's where I know that's the right one for me. And then I picked that fabric, and then I created the images based on that look. I believe most designers created their sketches first, and then pick up the fabric. I do the other way around.
So where do you usually go to find the fabric? Is it any special places?
There are 2 trade shows that is pretty much have hundreds of top fabric vendors. One is in New York and one is in Rome. I mean, you have the huge area that pretty much all the top and the small fabric company come in with all their stuff, all the new trends and new colors and texture, and then you collect which one that is fit in with your style, and then you get the contact, and then every season they send you sample, they send you images, and then you collect the sample. And when you collect the sample, you can see that the fabric actually look good in person and also on
Picture.
photo.
On photo.
Yeah.
How often do you go to this?
I don't actually need to go so much. I went early on when I first started designing. I went to New York twice to the trade show, and I able to establish very good relationship with more than few of major fabric factory.
Okay. How you can comment your fall and winter 2017 collection? Can you tell something specific?
You know, I didn't actually prepare to do fall and winter 17. I was gonna skip it. It's just a lot of change in our company. So I sort of want to skip one season and then come back and prepare another one for spring and summer. But Kelsey Ballini, her stylist contacted me a few months before the collection start producing. She wanted me to create something for her new music video we call Yeah Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me to do a neon color. And to me, I'm very conservative on the color. I only make sure that I play safe every time I choose colors that you see previous collection. For me, neon color is just very, very old and very 80s and look cheap to me. So I have a hard time to figure out what I can do for her that's completely different. So one night I would stay up until 3 in the morning, and I figure, okay, there is 30 different color of sequins. Why don't I take the sequins, the brown sequins, hand bead it to the flower, and take the flower hand bead to the garment. And we can mix the sequin flower to create the neon color. And that's what Kelsey Ballini pieces come out. And the fall and winter 17 is inspiration by Kelsey Ballini.
Such a great idea. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a next question about bridal 2018. It's gorgeous. How you created this collection?
You know, I was gonna launch my bridal collection last season, but once again, there's so much changing within the company for 4 years. So I waited until last February. I decided to launch the bridal collection. And really, to me, I think, to me, designing evening wear and bridal is not much different. I think for some designer it is different because with bridal it's only one color, it's white and white and white. Every season is white. For even where you work with color, you work with texture, you have a lot more options. But it's because, once again, the sequin flower is my signature, so we can able to create a lot of different looks for the bridal. And I love the 1920. I love jazz. I grew up with it. So I think, you know, the women back then is very sexy. They curvy. They, you know, glamorous. And so my silhouette, I always try to stay with the old-fashioned, but then I bring in the new technology on fabric. So that's why you see a lot of 3D images on, you know, laces and 3D hand beadings, so that I can accomplish what I want to look in the pieces.
Talk about that. Probably women who create gowns must have special skills. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
I think the special skill for me is I love to dress up.
The women who create your collections, do they have to have special skills, like working
Oh,
with
the women that
yeah.
actually work at the factory, you mean the factory? For me, I think factory is very important, especially what we try to accomplish in our design. It's very detailed, very handcrafted. So it's required very high skill to do all hand beading, to do all lace, 3D lace cuts, and the cuts had to be fitted very well. So yes, they generation hand down. They're very good what they do.
Okay. Can you tell us about runways? How many did you have so far? Where? Which one's your favorite and why?
I stopped counting. I think it's probably about eight collection now. We usually always showcase New York Fashion Week and London Fashion Week. But I believe next year we will be in Hong Kong.
Okay.
February 6th, we will be showcased on one of the luxury yacht cruise ship that is parked on the skylight, Hong Kong skylight, and the runway will be the deck.
Nice.
On top of the deck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you talk about recent annual New York Fashion Week fundraising gala where you were lead designer?
Once again, I didn't want to do anything with this year and because I have the full schedule for next year for runway. So I want a great group. I want to build a strong collection for next year. So I want to skip once again spring and summer 18. But I got a call from Rich Gavin. He is the son of Carol Gavin's foundation. It's a breast cancer foundation, and they want to put together a fundraise for two women, two young mother. One of them actually very sad. She's a very young mother of three. Her son actually about my son age, 10 years old, and then her older daughter 17. She worked 3 jobs to put, food on the table. Her husband worked 2 jobs and paid for medical, and her husband just lost the job during New York Fashion Week, and they very struggle. So it was a blessing in the sky for us all, put all the money together and all hands together to help them. So they call me on and they say, well, your label are very, very empowered women today. We would like to invite you to showcase with us as to raise money to help the 2 women. And that's how I guess I become the head designer.
Okay, thank you. Sophia has 2 questions for you. Go ahead, honey.
What brings you the most joy when you're creating your new work?
Well, every collection after I done with them, I look at them and I don't think they're good enough anymore.
What about the challenges that you face when you're creating a new collection?
Too many ideas.
Too many ideas.
I have questions about your dreams because our program is all about dreams. So what dream did you have that you accomplished already?
Well, I can say I am a career woman. When I grew up, I didn't think I would get married and have kids. I always say to myself, you're gonna be the most successful woman, travel the world. And then after I had my children, my son and my daughter, they really changed me. I look at things completely different now, and I'm very fortunate to have them. And so, as I say, every dream I set within my career so far, every career I started, I set 5 years where I want to be and what I want to be. And I always got it. Also with fashion designer, 4 years ago, I came out and I said myself that, after 5 years I will be showcased Mercedes-Benz New York Fashion Week, but I didn't know after a year I did it. My first collection was showcased with Mercedes-Benz New York Fashion Week. It was the last show. Mercedes-Benz pulled out, they stopped sponsor for New York Fashion Week, and we closed the show.
What is your next dream? What you want to reach?
My next dream is to have more bride to wear our bridal, because when they do, it's making me happy. At the end of the day, it's not, making money to maintain the business is one thing, but also doing that, I want to do something I can contribute to the woman, the modern woman today.
What would you recommend to our viewing audience on pursuing dreams?
I would recommend that, first of all, you have to have a dream. Because you don't have a dream, then you cannot push yourself, or you cannot make your dream become true. Find a dream that is actually is yours, and do whatever it takes. Push yourself to the limit. And if it's happened, you make it great because you try your best. But if it's not, you did it anyway.
What is the secret of success in your opinion?
I think the secret for me to be successful is not that I have a lot of money. Is that, the next generation and their generation look at our label and say, wow, we love your garments, we love your design, and it will last to generations. I think that's successful.
What would you recommend to younger generation?
I can only recommend, as artists or as, in general.
In general.
In general, the generation now very different than our generations. We struggle very much to do what we need to do to survive, to finish school and get a job. For me, just do what you do the best. You only have people around you that always can help you. You're not alone.
Okay. Anything else what you would want to share with our audience to inspire them? Anything else? Just last word before we finish.
I think I say a lot. I think you guys already hear a lot of inspiration. So I run out of the inspiration to say.
Well, yeah, I think it was a great show. Thank you very much for coming, and it was a pleasure to have you here with us today, Mimmi.
Thank you
We're wishing
so
you
much.
great luck with everything that you do. And Sofia, Christina, thank you very much for being part of our show. You're watching It All Starts with a Dream with Alika Karpova. Have a wonderful day and see you next time.